Well, all right. Hello out there. Blog Talk Radio land over here in the United States and all across the globe. Hello to my friends over there in Germany, in Italy, in the Caribbean islands, honey. For those of you who are listening, I greatly appreciate and I love you, and I thank you for all of your love and support, honey. Hello, tea sippers, honey. It is another glorious Wednesday, and you know what time it is, darling. So get your crumpets together, baby, because it's time to dish tea, and you're dishing tea, darlings. Ha ha! With Big Meats. Hey, babies. You know, down here in Atlanta, honey, it's kind of gloom and doom down here, baby. It's raining all day and things. The temperature is only going to get to be 57 degrees today as a high. And, you know, I'm sure everyone across the country, honey, you've been experiencing rather unusual weather, you know. I mean, hell, here we've been going through ups and downs and kind of reminded me of if I was home a little bit, you know. I mean, our lows have been only like at 32 or whatever the case may be. And for Atlanta, that there is, you know, that there is cold weather. You know, everybody bundles up and things of that nature down here. When for me, it's just a little chilly, you know what I mean? But we're moving forward, and it's cute down here. It's cute. And I have no complaints at this particular time. For those of you, honey, who are still here, and if you're joining me for the first time, welcome to 2013. I hope that you're still stepping onto the scene in 2013, red carpet style, and making it happen and planting some seeds and this, that, and the other. Today's show, my darlings, is going to be a little bit that way. I had to call my friend to come back onto the show. If you was not with us last week for our Don't Come Out of a Bag Wednesday, I encourage you, I implore you to please go to the archives and to get that particular show. I want you to go and listen to that show because there was some information that had come out that was a humdinger. Okay, we had some medical information that was given to us in pieces because the information is relatively new. You're not going to find anything about it out on the internet or whatever because it's new. The CDC and the Surgeon General and stuff had announced a lot of these things at a medical conference that had taken place a couple of weekends ago in Vegas. And with that, they disclosed some information that is very sensitive, very scary, and some things that you need to know as the American people, as a part of humanity, whether you're here in America or across the globe, because there's some things here that we need to do better as far as taking care of ourselves. So with that, I've asked for my nurse practitioner friend to come back so that we can possibly continue on with that conversation. Now, I'm not sure if we'll be able to go into that same area because, like I said, the information was very sensitive and relatively new. A lot of those who feel as though it might be a conspiracy or whatever, you may not understand it, may not believe that it's going on. So I implore you to go to the archives to get that information. But what we will do is move forward, and we're going to continue on with the discussion about modern medicine, and we're going to talk about sexually transmitted infections and diseases. We're even going to talk about the flu and other common stuff that is happening here that has come back what I deem to call new and improved. You know, we have a lot of the viruses and things that we're dealing with now is coming back at a sock it to me, gotta kind of get you kind of thing. And a lot of us are not prepared. Our immune systems are not strong enough to handle it. And then, quite simply, the vaccines, or rather the viruses themselves, have become immune to a lot of the vaccines and stuff that are out there. So those are some of the things that we're going to be getting into today. So if you're listening by computer and you wish to join in on the conversation, please feel free. Call in at 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. If you wish to have something to say, press the number one time, just one time. Your hand will light up on my call queue, and that will let me know that you wish to say something. If you press it twice, you'll put your hand up and then you'll put your hand back down, and then I won't know that you want to talk. So there's what that's going to mean. If you're over in the tea room, hey darlings, hey Road to Stardom over there in the tea room. That's the chat room. If you're listening by computer, you can go ahead over there and chat with the folks over there. If you do not have a profile, you'll be listed as a guest, and you won't be able to interact, but you will be able to read and carry on. But if you have a profile page, it's simple to set up. It's free. You can be able to interact with everyone over there. Now, please be mindful that the tea room, honey, is the written word. A lot of times we're in this new technology age to where everything is written, and none of us know how to communicate with one another. So we base this on our own experiences, and you may think someone is coming for you or think they may be saying it in a way, but based on your own perceptions and things of that nature, and that may not be the case. So while you're over here, please dish your tea over there responsibly. It's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable, because if I come in there and find out that you are, I will cut you. And when I cut severely, honey. And I mean that, okay? So just dish your tea over there responsibly. And right here is where I will put my disclaimer. Dishing tea with big meat is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this program are not intended for children or anyone who's not mature enough to handle the subject matter. So your listening discretion is advised. I'll repeat. Dishing tea with big meat is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this program are not intended for children or anyone who is not mature enough to handle the subject matter. So your listening discretion is advised. Now, I said that because, honey, what you will have to understand is I don't know what bag I'm coming out of. Just know that I'm coming out of one, honey. And now is your time. If you're at work and you're listening by computer and all of that, now is the time for you to take your volumes, put them down at a respectful level, or put your headphones on. If you're at home and your computer is out and loud or whatever, now is the time to take the children, put them over. Sesame Street has been saved, praise God. Go let them watch Sesame Street. Go let them watch Dora the Explorer, SpongeBob SquarePants, something. Let the kids have the kids, because now it is time for the grown and sexy to become the seasoned and sophisticated. So if you're not governing yourselves responsibly, honey, consider yourselves warned, because none of you bitches will call me, email me, write me, see me in Kroger's or whatever, and tell me that something I said caused you to get a demerit. We're not going to go there. You understand? We are not going to go there. So consider yourselves warned, okay? I just don't know, honey. I don't know. After today, after last week, honey, I don't know. So I don't know what's coming out. For those of you who are very new, you will learn I have a potty mouth. I make no excuses for it, honey. I'm soon to be 43 years old in less than 2 months. So every 4-letter, 5-letter, 10-syllable, 15 arguments or whatever that comes out of my mouth, I've earned them. So I'm telling you now, don't be bashful, okay? So there is that, honey. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, show ideas, show topics, all of those kinds of things, honey, please feel free to email me at bigmeach@dishingtea.com. That's BIGMEACH @dishingtea.com, or just simply go over to the website, www.dishingtea.com, and over there you will find all the information that you need about the radio show, all the Facebook, Twitter links, and things of that nature. You will find information about how you can obtain a copy of my latest book, honey, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. You will also find information on how you can help me birth my baby, honey. We're on the new road. My new play, No Time for the Pain, is about to be birthed. So we're in the fundraising process. So if you want to help us out and get this baby up and running, honey, please go to the website and find out more information on how you can purchase ads for our playbill and all of those things to make this baby happen. We're looking for a July release, honey. So it's going to be a summer show, and we're putting it down like that. So go to the website and find out more information, or email me directly, and you can find that out too. Also, like I said, at the website you will find the link, because we have a web page up that will give you the trailer for the show, give you information about No Time for the Pain and all of that. And I'm very, very, very excited, because this is a 20-year labor of love. And I wrote this piece and finished it almost 20 years ago. And yes, now is the time to get it out there. So everything is aligning up properly. So I thank you in advance for all of your love and your support. Okay? So with that, before we go any further, like I said, today's show is, I titled it Modern Medicine or Big Business. What's the tea, honey? Okay, what's tea? So before we get into this and bring you information, let me pay a couple of bills. And when we come back from this little break, we're going to go into some things here. My guest today, he's a nurse practitioner. His name is Mr. Lee Johnson, Sr. And so we'll get more into him on the flip side of this. So don't go anywhere, or if you do, come right back with your crumpets, honey, because we got some tea for you. So sit back. I'll talk to you in just a few more moments.
The internet sensation is now in print. Get your copy of the book that will not only change your life, but change your thinking as well. Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey is a compelling collection of blogs that have been the pinnacle of spiritual development and discernment for its author, internet talk show host Big Meech. Not only does this body of work offer the insight from his life experiences, it provides the reader an amazing opportunity to go on a journey that will awaken insight into their own higher power while encouraging personal growth and spiritual development. With chapters such as, I cannot give you life, nor can I live it for you. Truth is a bad bitch. It's time for a career change. I am not your God. And in what love do you operate? You will be captivated and compelled to take the life lessons the book has to offer and apply them to your life. To get your copy today of Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey, go to www.dishingtea.com, or you can find it on the web at www.amazon.com, or if you prefer an ebook, find it at www.smashwords.com. Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. Are you ready? Are you ready for the journey? Trig Laboratories manufactures premium sexual wellness and consumer healthcare products and is the parent company of Wet International Incorporated, one of the world's best-selling lines of personal lubricants and intimacy products. We carry a large variety of personal and flavored lubricants, flavored heating massage lotions, and aromatherapy heating massage oils. Whether you need a little or a lot, Wet has you covered. Our line of high-quality, innovative, and unique products are formulated using only the finest ingredients at our FDA-approved facility, meeting the strictest manufacturing standards. Wet is available worldwide at specialty stores and online retailers and at pharmacies nationwide. For more information or to find a retailer near you, log on to www.stayswetlonger.com. Trig Laboratories. We create fun, quality, trusted products to innovate your intimacy.
And we are back. If you're just joining us, hello, my darlings. Thank you, my tea sippers, for coming on in with us. I love you and I adore you, honey, for taking your time, honey, to get a sip from our hot pot. Okay, today's show, modern medicine or big business, honey. What's tea? Okay? Now, see, today's show, I said, it's going to be like a continuation of last week's show as we delve deeper into the eye-opening world of modern medicine and sexually transmitted infections or sexually transmitted diseases. If you missed last week's show, I urge you to go and take a listen into the archives. Now, today, we are going to dish a hot pot of tea for you with my friend, Nurse Practitioner Mr. Lee Johnson Sr., who gives us a glimpse into what has been discovered about what I deem to be the new and improved symptoms and effects that S.T.Is and even the flu have wreaked upon humanity. And this is an education for all people. So if you're gay, straight, bi, trans, asexual, nonsexual, pansexual, autosexual, this is going to benefit you in many, many, many different ways, okay? So without any further ado, let me bring on my friend. This is Mr. Lee Johnson Sr. Lee, darling, how are you? I'm wonderful, baby. Thank you for coming on back. I'm glad that you're able to be with us and to talk and to chat, honey. What's going on?
Well, I just got through with the class, as I told you earlier, and today's topic was sexually transmitted diseases as well as a new uprising in testicular and vaginal cancers. It is very important that men now realize that testicular cancer is at an alarmingly high rate, and they must now check themselves as a woman would check her breast. And I also want to go further to say that there are more cases of male breast cancer. We know now that at least 25,000 men a year die from breast cancer. So it is important for them to also check their breast when they're showering, and every month. We have had some of our stars, which right now elude me, my notes are still in the classroom, that have reported, male stars of film have reported breast cancer. So
no, interesting.
I know we were going to, and we will get into the sexually transmitted parts, but those also come in handy, as that's what I was teaching on today, testicular and breast cancer in the male.
See, that all goes hand in hand. Because, now, here's the question. In dealing with sexually transmitted infections, I mean, see, this has become so myriad of places to go, all the ideas behind this, because one of the things I would love to know in the research or whatever, and that is with the onset of the increase of male testicular cancer and male breast cancer, why is it that these particular these kinds of tests and this, that, and the other are not necessarily on the forefront when we talk about men's health issues. And it's so funny because I was thinking about this last night at work. Whenever we talk about health issues and carrying on all the television shows, we have the doctors, we got Dr. Oz and this, that, and the third. Whenever we talk about men's health issues, we never dig deep. Everything stays on the surface. Everything is always about sexual organs. We don't go into a lot of the other aspects of what men's health is all about and what it surrounds. So now that we are here, when we talk about testicular cancer, how come those things are not on the forefront as far as understanding how to examine oneself? Why is it that with male breast cancer, of course, when you think breast cancer, they strictly go with women, but we have a lot of large-breasted men these days. Whether it's from obesity or what is it called, the genomastectomy, whatever it's called. It has a clinical name for large-breasted men.
Gynomastectomy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, why is it that's not on the forefront? To where now you're saying to me, okay, now you got to check your breast as well. Why are these things not
well, like you
forthcoming?
began with the show, is it politics? Is it money? Is it this or that? It's everything combined. Well, because the sheer numbers don't match those of the female to the male. And the problem is it costs. As with a physical exam, nowadays you go in the doctor's office, a physical exam is 2 or 3 minutes, where it used to be, they would go from head to toe. We have to educate ourselves to be specific when we go in our doctor's office and ask for what we want now. And then knowing if we can pay for it, because the tests that they have to take or whatever are very expensive.
Why?
Well,
I've never understood that about these tests or whatever. Particularly, see, this is why I call this show either modern medicine or big business, because everything starts to wrap around money.
Everything
and just like
starts
you said,
with money. It starts
everything
with money.
starts and ends, because anytime I go to my doctor, now you got me sitting in this damn doctor's office waiting on you for 45 minutes to an hour for me to only be in your office for 8 minutes. And then if I don't come in with the list, or if I come in with the list and tell you what's wrong, okay, this is hurt and that's hurt, blah, 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 you then take what is most important to you and say, okay, we're going to focus on this today, and then you're going to come back for this or come back for this. And each time I come back, see, that's another copay that I have to pay for this. Plus, all of that gets wrapped up into all of this, and it starts to bother me.
Let me explain.
Go ahead. Explain it.
Everything works around insurance, so it is big business. I would appreciate if people would understand and have more patience with the healthcare practitioners, because we are under insurance laws as well. If you come into my office and see me, I am only interested, quote unquote, with your main complaint. We're not interested at that time with your other symptoms, because we can't treat them unless we're going to treat them for free. Same things are going on in emergency rooms around the country. What is your chief complaint? That's it. Because if you tell us all these other complaints and we listen to them and write them to paper, we must examine them. And it could be at the cost of the facility or the hospital or whatever, which is the facility. And they're not willing to pick up that cost. So if you're coming in because you have a headache, that's your chief complaint, then that's what we're going to look at. You may have other symptoms or even other complaints that are just as important as the one that you came in with, but we cannot delve into that at this particular time. That's why you have to come back. Insurance companies dictate. It's not the medical profession anymore. Insurance companies now can dictate and I hope your listeners are paying very close attention because this is true, down to the pillows and the blankets that they receive if they are inpatients. Under certain policies, hospitals are not allowed to even give you an extra pillow or a blanket without now checking with your insurance company.
If you don't stop playing with me, now see, now this is very interesting because see, now it explains a lot because those who come in for maybe the simple headache or maybe, okay, I may have an abdominal pain or whatever, and then we start to break this down. As we all know, many different illnesses and things have some of the same symptoms. So when we're talking sexually transmitted infections and diseases, if the doctor is only worried about a chief complaint, how do you then pick out or to know if you need to go into this area or test for this particular thing? Because I know I've said on many of occasions, whenever I go to my primary care doctor or whatever, I tell them during my physical, check me for every fucking thing.
Well,
for them to tell me that they didn't run that test, and whenever they tell me that, I'm like, didn't I say check for everything? Why didn't you run this test?
They may not be able to because before tests are ran, we have to check and see if your insurance company will pay for it.
If you don't stop playing with me. Really?
Insurance companies dictate. And then we must go into something a little bit deeper than that. Insurance companies are third parties. Whoever is your employer or whatever, like if you're going to have state medical insurance or whatever,
right?
They dictate to the insurance companies what they will pay for. See, we fuss at the insurance companies, but the insurance companies are third parties to whoever has hired them.
Get out of here.
So it actually goes back to your employer or your state medical or federal medical insurance. The government dictates, the job dictates to Blue Cross or Medicare or Medicaid or whoever what they will and will not pay for. So while we're calling the insurance company, bawling the insurance company out, they're only taking orders from who hired them.
Get out of here.
So it's very complicated. So the insurance companies make it sound like they're the ones in control, but actually they are not. It is who hired them. They are an employee as well.
Really? I'm telling you, my wig just blew back. Okay. And
so it is a very complicated situation. So they tell you to call your insurance company, and now the insurance companies are saying when it gets deep enough, you need to call your employer. Or
and check your benefit package. Now I've had them say that to me on a couple of occasions.
Yes.
Call your employer and check to see what your what your benefit package is, specifically.
Right.
And this, that, and the other. And then I've had suggestions, perhaps you need to do X, Y, and Z through your employer and this, that, and the third. I've had them say that to me as well. Wow.
And that is why, because the employer is the one that actually calls the shots behind the scenes of the insurance company.
Ain't that nothing?
So it's like if a person comes in, I'll just say, with any particular type of cancer. Okay, after your insurance is checked, well, your insurance may say, we're not going to pay for that. So then it becomes the responsibility of the person to dig deeper and find out who can they contact that will be responsible, which oftentimes it does go back to the employer or your government insurance agency.
Well, see, but okay, now, let me put my business out here. And when I first started having problems with this hernia, when it first started developing, at that particular time, I was in between insurances because I was working, but the job that I had didn't offer insurance benefits. So I had, and this is when I was back home in Detroit, I had the Michigan State Insurance or whatever that don't cover nothing. Okay, it is when I say the strictest of the bare minimums.
Yes.
I mean just that.
Yes.
Okay. In fact, it wasn't even Medicaid. It was the program that's less than the Medicaid. I forget what it's called,
Medicaid, but it comes up under a PPO or a.
What? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that, and I said, okay, fine. So whenever I had problems or the hernia was growing, because now that I know what it was, what I was going through, and it was starting to grow, and it would debilitate me, and I would go through the ER. They told me, as long as I can press on it and it could move, that I was fine, because they would not. They told me I was fine and that they could not operate on it. They told me to go home and to take and just tape it down so that it wouldn't move. They also told me, and this was at Sinai Grace Hospital, I will never forget this, they also told me that they would only do an emergency surgery if they pushed it, it was very hard, because that would mean that my intestines have become strangulated, and that it was an emergency situation at that time, because my body would have been backed up with bacteria and poison, and then they would have done it. So then they would have had to cut out that portion of my intestines, and then I would have been on a colostomy bag for the rest of my life. But that was the only way that they were going to do that surgery under that insurance.
Exactly, and then I'll go further to tell you why. When you come to a hospital or facility, if they do a procedure and the insurance does not cover it, then they have to eat that cost. Billing you knowing you're not going to pay it because, number one, you're not probably capable of paying it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you right now, since you mentioned Sinai Grace, let me tell you what's going on. Medicaid, right this very moment, and this is another reason that facilities don't like to take Medicaid, just for Sinai Grace, and I was just looking at these stats the other day, less than a week ago, Medicaid is in error with Sinai Grace at the rate of over $6 million right today. That's just one hospital, Sinai Grace. They owe Sinai Grace $6 million for work that has been done over the past 2 years they have not paid. That's just that one hospital. We're not talking about Henry Ford, Beaumont. As you know now, Henry Ford and Beaumont are getting ready to merge. Can you imagine?
No, I didn't know that. Are you serious?
They are getting ready to merge, Henry Ford and Beaumont. That nobody could have ever imagined in a million years. That is what is going on. And the simple thing of that is, Beaumont thought that they would never get in a position where they would have to ask for help, because, they're one of the so-called premiers. But what happened was they forgot that it's not only blacks that had Medicaid, a lot of whites, and they were taking the whites with Medicaid, and they were losing money hand over fist. Owed millions and millions, as all of the hospitals in the area are owed millions and millions by Medicaid. So this is why they do the bare minimum, if they do anything at all, with some cases, because they are owed so much money already.
See, this becomes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and I knew that this was going to be a hard onion to sit down here, and if we started to peel, we was going to start to hit these layers, because in dealing with the insurance companies, and see, this may tie into a lot of gray area that a lot of people are not understanding when it comes down to STIs, STDs, and carrying on. And even now that the flu is new and improved, everything on the television now is talking about this flu being damn near unresponsive to a lot of the treatments and stuff now. And you know, between the flu, West Nile virus, and carrying on, because I know here in Atlanta, West Nile done hit, you know, kind of cutely.
All over the country.
It's something else that just hit. There's something that should have been common that would have been able to get rid of, but now it's come back with a new and improved strand. And all of that.
Oh, well, let me tell you what's come back. I'm sorry to keep interrupting.
No, go ahead, honey. This is you. This is why I need this. This is
there's
the information
so much
got to go.
that I need to talk about. People will not believe that polio has even come back. We are seeing more signs of polio. The vaccine has died in the body, which we thought was going to last forever. That they are now getting ready to come out with asking people to get another polio vaccine. See, a lot of things have not hit the market because we have to be sure and we have to know where we're going. When you give people information, you have to tell them something besides what it is. And that's why a lot of things don't hit the market or the Internet for quite some time, because the research has not completed. That's why a lot of things we can and cannot talk about, because when people look for certain things that you may say and they don't find it, like you said, they think it's an urban myth or something.
It's a lie, it's a myth, you know.
And it's not. It's that it takes so much time to research, because once you find out what's going on, then now you have to research and get the information to get whatever the medication that will put it in remission or a cure. So if we come and tell you something and you're looking for it and you don't find it, it's not because it's a cover-up or anything. What it is that they're trying to find something to treat it or cure it, and that takes time. And as you know, research dollars are limited. You see going with this mess with the government, with the fiscal limit and all of this. That affects all of these things, research and all that. So many researches for cancers have had to close down recently. You would be amazed at how many close down on a daily basis that have almost reached the point where they found something to help whatever it is, but the money has ran out and the government does not refund that program. So now they either have to beg for money from different organizations or individuals, or the company is just shut down completely and the research stops where it stops, which has not reached the point of a treatment or a cure. So as we're looking at all these other things with the government, keep in mind and tell our listeners to call their congressmen and senators and tell them, fund research. Because right now, with the things that we have going on and the things of the past that we thought we would never see again are evolving back to the surface.
Let me say this here, because I'm in the tea room and Pharaoh's box and put up a couple of things. Okay. The first one that he says, hurry up and die, says the insurance man, and I thought that was rather that way, because it seems as though, and this may be one of these conspiracy theories going forth, but it just seems as though this is becoming some form of population control. You know, with a lot of these infections and diseases that carrying on, like back in the day, we knew a certain number of people were going to die. Okay, and I know that sounds morbid as hell. But now that the cures and treatments are carrying on and folks are not dying the way that they are, there's no population control. So now it just seems as though if you withhold this or withhold that or whatever, now they just want folks to just go ahead on and keel over for whatever reasons. Okay? Then he puts up and says, recently a child was sent home after the parents took the child, who was saying over and over, help me, to the doctor. The doctor instructed the parents to take the child home and give him over-the-counter meds. The child died later that night. And he said that was found on TV 33. And carrying on. So, again, going back to, when do we find out? How do we go about understanding these particular tests or whatever? How is it that a clinic or the doctors or whatever, you had to get permission to take an HIV test. You had to get, to take a syphilis test and this, that, and the other. Why is it that they as prevalent as this stuff is, that they won't run these tests the way that they should, or the way that we think that they should, and it all boils down to this money. And then he says there is no money in cures, the money is in treatment. Exactly, because everybody keep going back, and they only treat they treat the symptoms. They don't treat or go for a cure. As long as I'm sitting up there and I got a headache, okay, if I take this Tylenol, honey, then the headache is gone. But I know I can always run back if I run out of Tylenol, instead of going to say, well, if you change your diet and find out you got an allergy to this and cut this out, then you won't have these headaches anymore. See, then the industry is losing money.
Allergy testing is very important for everyone, especially in the environment that we're living in now. But there again, we're going into expense. The more allergy testing done, the more expensive it is. One test of an allergy, a particular allergy, which we won't name, is over $1,000 just for that one lab test, because it has to be taken, it has to be put on ice, it has to be shipped where they're going to test it, because it's not something that's common, and there's only certain sites around the country that test this. So now you have the expense of drawing the blood, you have the expense of mailing this off overnight to wherever you got to mail it off to. Then they have to turn on this machine that is rarely used to perform this test. So now they send the bill back to us. Then we have to send the bill to the insurance company. If the insurance company rejects it, now either one of two things. We can appeal, or we have to eat that cost. And the reason that I say we eat it is because 9 times out of 10, the patient does not have the means or will not pay that bill. So everybody has to think in this way now. Okay, this person comes in here. We know they need this, that, or the other, but are we willing to take the chance that this is going to be paid for? No, because we can't continuously eat costs, or we'll end up like, Southwest Detroit Hospital here with the doors closed.
Did you say Southwest Detroit Hospital? I used to work there.
Yeah. The doors are closed. That's what my point is. You can't keep on absorbing the cost, otherwise you're not going to be able to survive.
Wow.
So, yes, modern technology has come out with many things, but that does not mean that you or I can afford to get what they've come out with. If we don't have the premium insurance, or if you don't have some quote-unquote premium money, then you're not in that mix, okay? It's available, a lot of things, but is it available to you?
Well, see, now, okay, and I just got into this discussion with a friend of mine about, what he feels to be he doesn't believe in government conspiracies or this, that, and the other, versus folks taking on responsibilities for themselves or whatever. But after just explaining that, a lot of the businesses, and this is where I have a hard time with private sector and the whole big debate about, what they're deeming to be Obamacare and this, that, and the other. And that is, if you know that this is what is needed to sustain a population, why is it not made available so that everyone can have the same advantage point? And why is it that these hospitals and pharmaceutical companies and carrying on run the risk or have all of these things at such an astronomical cost to where you've set this up for the haves to have and the have-nots to sit there and look just like the quote was in the tea room, hurry up and die off.
Exactly.
It starts
and
to become...
pharmaceuticals are looking for money because they've had to come up with this cure or, band-aid.
Now, yes. Now, I was told that a long time ago.
They're looking to keep their money back. Pardon?
Right. because of the clinical trials. And, when they sit up there and get the guinea pigs, as I call them, all these clinical trials, and they pay you this money to, okay, we're in this trial offer. You don't know if you're getting this or the placebo, and the cost of that to find out the research. And then the cost of this, that, and the other. What?
This is something that people don't even think about. One, with this Hurricane Sandy or whatever it was over there on the Sandy, East Coast, they were doing such great and important research on Alzheimer's and everything. But when Sandy hit, the animals and things that they were researching on were washed away. 20 years of research gone in an instant.
Oh.
See, those are the things that people aren't thinking about either. When you have these natural disasters and things like that, research from years can be lost. And you almost have to start back from the beginning, because some of the people that started the research have died and passed it on to other people. So they picked up at the point where the person died. So now you have to go back. All of that was lost. Just like when the hurricane hit in New Orleans, a lot of medical research was lost. So there's another aspect of what we're talking about. When you lose medical research, or when you lose researchers, a couple of very famous researchers that were at the brink of coming out with something just recently died here within the last 6 months. Now somebody has to pick up their notes from the beginning. This is the kind of thing we're talking about. So here's where the pharmaceuticals come into losing a lot of money, because, see, they put a lot of money into this research, and now it's just washed away into the sea somewhere. Who knows? So,
well, see, now, okay, let me play devil's advocate here, because just what you said, as far as research and development, if the notes are there, then where are the assistants and the assistants?
Okay. Well, here we go.
That knew what the study was. I mean, that's simple chemistry. When we took chemistry in school,
it's simple chemistry. But now, when you say, let me go into that for a minute, just briefly, because we could go on with this for hours. When the storm hit, it not only killed the research, it killed some of the researchers, or it displaced the researchers. The hospital was taken over. All the forms and papers and computers that they were using, and backup generators and so forth and so on, all that was swept away. So some of the minds that were currently working on the finishing product are displaced, dead, or the research, because most things are put on computer now and backed up. But they lost the computer and the backup in the storm.
Wow. See, this becomes multi-layered. Let me take a pause right here. I need to take a break. And when we come back, let's go into a lot of the what is new and improved as far as S.T.Is and stuff are concerned. What is it that the American public need to understand about their sexual health, about what's going on? Because I have an article here from the UK that says the rise of sexually transmitted infections in on the gay scene has been linked directly to crystal meth use and other drugs. Yes. Go into that when I come back from the break. Okay, so stay tuned. 313-772. I see your hand up. I'm going to come to you when we come back after the break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this. the Caribbean American Boys Entertainment. We specialize in jerk and conch food catering, party promotions and emceeing, entertainment with the Caribbean swagger, island fever on the mainland, bam bam. We also provide customized tour guides through gay-friendly Bahamas to all the hot spots of dining and club life events. Mr. Silvano T. DeMarco is the founder and CEO of the CABC. For more information, please contact him at CaribbeanBoysATL@yahoo.com. That's Caribbean Boys with a Z, ATL, @yahoo.com, or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. That's Facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. Caribbean American Boys Entertainment. Island Fever on the mainland. Bam bam. Trade Day Management and Publicity Firm, an Atlanta-based PR production and management consultancy firm specializing in aggressive publicity and exposure campaigns, artist development, leveraging mutually beneficial relationships, and brokering deal with integrity. At Trade Day Management, enjoy a touch of Southern hospitality with a universal appeal. For all of your public relations and entertainment management needs, contact Travion Davenport at 678-523-3088. That's 678-523-3088, or email at TradeDayPR@gmail.com. That's Trade TreaDayPR@gmail.com. Trade Day Management and Publicity Firm. Egypt, Vidal, Couture, Egypt, Vidal, Couture. Enjoy high fashion with luxurious twist. Step into the future with fresh, innovative couture. Designed by Miss Michi DeVale. Michi DeVale. For more information, contact Michi at 313-996-9807. 313-996-9807. Or go to Facebook and go to Facebook.com/Michi DeVale. That's MICHIEEDEVALE. Michi DeVale. Echam Vidal Couture.
First realized the complex was on fire.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, I woke up to go give me a cold pop. Then I thought somebody was barbecuing. I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Then I ran out. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I just thought that was so appropriate right there. Ain't nobody got time for that, child. Okay. No, I did not scare off the guest. You so stupid. Somebody said that in the tea room. No, they're here, honey.
Yes.
Okay. But no, honey, and in all seriousness, I played that because when we're dealing with our health and dealing with everything, honey, nobody wants to sit down and have to, everything that we've been saying about insurance. Ain't nobody got time for that, and I'm ailing and I'm sick and carrying on. And you want to tell me that we got to go through this and go through that. Let me go here to this phone call. 313-772. 313-772. You're on there with Big Meech. Hello there, darling.
Good afternoon, loves. How you doing?
Hey, baby. What's going on?
Ooh, pleasantries. I love them, however. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Insurance Man? Are you there?
Well, I'm not the insurance man.
Okay,
I'm the nurse practitioner, but yeah.
I'm late to the show. You are. I'm Mark from Detroit.
Okay. How are you?
And you? I'm
He's
wonderful.
the nurse practitioner.
Nurse practitioner. Okay, seeing how you're in the answering question, Lou, forgive any venom that might come from this. It's not meant directly towards you, but I feel a little passionate about the subject I'm about to get into. You had mentioned that there was a lot of information loss and research loss during these tragic hurricanes and things of that nature. One thing that jumped into my head about that is I have found out personally that it is not business-wise for hospitals to share information. Now, it would sound like to little old me with this kind of, I guess, bold insurance, as you guys described, that because it's not beneficial financially, hospitals cannot share information. And this is something I find disturbing when my own brother, when he was going through, when his heartbeat sounded irregular to me, I remember complaining to his doctors about it. And they told me everything was fine. For him, within a year's time, after I've been complaining consistently about how his heart sounds, for them to say that he has congestive heart failure, and then to suggest to me of all things that it just came up. That sounds like something that was a little bit behind the business end of it, if you will. And that's very disturbing to me because, see, that affected me personally in my life. That affected me very near and dear. And it's really hard to accept that because of $1, you almost let my brother die. So literally.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you told things like you don't have the research, and then you hear things on the TV or, God forbid, on the Internet about all this new fabulous research, but each hospital owns it as though it's a patent. That is something, Mr. Nurse Practitioner, I'm not understanding. If you guys already covered it, forgive the repeat of the question, but if somebody could break that down a little bit for me, I would love you to death.
Well, I'll do the best I can with that because it all goes back into issues with the government and the laws of the land. It's not necessarily that the hospitals or facilities don't want to trade information because we could find cures or treatments quicker, but we are governed by the federal government as well as state laws, depending on the state, as to how much or whether you can share any information at all. So you're absolutely right in what you said. It's getting better, but not fast enough. We could certainly find cures or treatments much quicker if we were able to share information, but please don't put it on the facility or the practitioner or whomever. It's law.
Enough. amazingly enough, and I'm going to say this is true because I stay in prayer, I have looked at that as a horrible truth, and it has forced me to research and do better in finding out things to take care of myself so that I would know what to go and say to the doctor. I do feel it's a little funky, but I guess in actuality, one of the harsh truths is you should be involved in your own medical care and treatment deeply.
Certainly.
It's just that this is kind of different. I'm not used to this. I'm used to going to the doctor and, leaving being all right.
Well, that's a thing of the past almost. That's a thing of the past. Because doctors, nurse practitioners, everybody involved in the medical field, we're covered under so many laws that it would just boggle the mind. Certain things that we say, we shouldn't have said it. Certain things that we do, we shouldn't have done it, even though it's the right thing to do. By law, we could be committing a crime.
Wow.
Well, thank you for admitting it. Thank you. Love you, Miss. I say no more. Thank you.
Okay.
So, and then the ones, well, just to bring this point on home, the ones that you think you can say things to without actually saying it, a lot of times people have to catch on to what you're saying. You might not say it directly, but then a lot of people act like they can't even catch on to the hint. We can guide you in the right direction sometimes, but you have to listen to what's being said. And oftentimes people do not listen to what's being said. They hear what they want to hear.
Now, that I found to be true with the nurses, to my shock and amazement. The nurses, God bless them. The ones that I've ran across, they're good for trying to give you a little hint or whatnot, but it's so very cryptic. And you just explained why they talk to you like that. They try to tell you, like, off to the side, like, hey, that we can't really do that. Well, they'll tell you flat out, we can't give you medical advice because we could be held accountable.
Exactly.
But for the ones that feel like they can go ahead and risk it, they give you, one of the things I've been told is make sure I find me a home remedy book and keep it. And I did.
Very good. Very good.
Okay.
I hope that was some help for you.
All right. Well, let's go into here because, see, now he brings up a very good point, and I think that it takes us into going into this new and improved era. As he said with his brother, we sit up here, we go to the doctors, we tell them this, we tell them that, and then, now after so long, now a year later, now it does develop into, this is congestive heart failure and this, that, and the other. It doesn't hit new and improved. It's bigger than what it could have been had we looked at this back in the day. So, how do we go about doing this? We talk about the flu. Now the flu is back, and it's not responding to treatments and carrying on. How does a flu not respond to a treatment? What is it with these viruses now and ailments? Is it in the food? Is it a combination of environment? Because, again, here we go with more layers to this onion that we have to look into because, like
honey,
you just said, the polio vaccine.
Peeling. This layer is going to keep on peeling because let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. And it goes very briefly, please bear with me. It goes back into the law. Do you know now that in the state of Michigan, listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Once a child hits the age of 14, do you know their own parents have to get their permission to get into their medical records? We can't even tell their parents what's going on with them. It's against the law.
At 14?
At 14, sir.
Wait a minute. Wait. No. Because, see, that's giving children too much damn power. How are you going to tell me that? See, here we go. Now, at one moment, you're saying that the legal age of consent is 16. Now, I could be 16 and drop out of school because legally I can do that. But I'm not grown enough
anymore. Let's go back to that. The new law in the state of Michigan now is that you're not able to drop out before you're 18, and if you do, the parent can be held legally responsible.
Lord have mercy. But okay, so
if your
if
daughter,
the legal age of consent is 16,
the legal age is 16. But even now, going into Social Security, let's say, if you have a 14-year-old child that's disabled, or you're trying to get treatment for or money for or whatever, they have to sign before even Social Security can talk to you, starting at the age of 14 now.
What the hell is this? So now, so kids, Lord have mercy, I don't even understand this. So wait a minute. Why is it that the parents' power now is being neutralized? I get it to some degree because a lot of kids at 14 and stuff with these pregnancies and this, that, and the other, they go in there for abortions and stuff. They go in there for contraceptives and carrying on because we got parents that still don't want to talk to their kids about sex, about all of these things. So I can hear the argument on one particular aspect, but it's only a small, minute. How do you neutralize the parents' power like that? All in the name of medical disclosure and this, that, and other. You got to have me sign a damn consent form before the child can have treatment. But yet you can't give me the medical records? That don't make no fucking sense.
Well, you're absolutely right. But see, we're bound by the laws. And see, that's the other part about it. In medicine, you have to know the law as well. And people don't understand that. They think that they can talk to us and we can talk to them as freely as we're talking now. That is not true. Another thing that came into play is the HIPAA law. Just like this gentleman said about his brother. Legally, the doctor didn't have to tell him anything. He could have just said, you can ask your brother, unless your brother signs this paper that says that he doesn't want the HIPAA law to apply to you. Now he's opened the door where we can talk to you, but we can only go so far, even though he has given away the HIPAA law right. And when you give that away, you can only give it away to one person at a time. I can't talk to your whole family. Whoever you put on that paper, that's the only person I can talk to, and I can only go so far with them.
Right.
So,
see,
you may have an advocate in your corner. You may have that advocate, but the advocate can only go so far, and they can't go anywhere until you sign off on this HIPAA thing, because we can't tell them anything until you do that. They're just blowing in the wind.
See, this could get so fucking frustrating, and I know I'm cussing a lot because I'm one of these people. See, now, as a patient advocate, when I was working in the HIV field as a case manager or whatever, when we were dealing with all of that, and I was dealing with my clients and having to deal with family members and things who did not know, they come in there wanting to understand, how is this, how does this work, how does that work, and I could not tell them anything. See, that there becomes heartbreaking because now everybody's hands are tied. How do I do anything when I can't get the fucking information?
Exactly.
Okay?
Well,
so
it's
now,
frustrating on the medical end, like you say, as well, because we're not able to ask a family member about you particularly that may know. It may be your husband, it may be your wife, your children, whatever. We can't ask them because of HIPAA. Because, see, we're violating your rights, because if we ask them certain questions, if we either have to tell them or either they figure it out through osmosis or whatever, what's going on, now we've violated the law. So our hands are tied all the way around.
See, a lot of this stuff here, I'm telling you, see, and folks don't want to, a lot of this, I won't say it's a government conspiracy or whatever, but the conspiracy laws on all of this get so intertwined Because when you're sitting up here talking about the law this, the law that, the law this, the law here, it doesn't sit down and become practical because everybody ends up in the loop. Who has all the damn information but those who controlling the money? If the doctor's got all of the information, okay, and you can't share it here, you can't share it there, okay. However, now catch this now. You can't share that damn information with me, the family member, but because I done signed off when I came in for treatment, you can give the damn pharmaceutical company all my damn information. You could give it to X, Y, and Z along this particular line, but you can't give it to me.
Right. Exactly. Give it to the insurance company. Give it to government.
That don't make no
agencies.
damn sense. And
Right.
yet they're the ones controlling all of this, and then you still telling me that at the same time, those are the ones I got to go to your employer before we say we're going to pay for this and pay for that. And yet the family member wondering how come the insurance can't pay for it. That's what we got insurance for. I'm sitting up here paying, you taking out a nice little 1/4 of my damn paycheck for insurance premiums every fucking pay period. But yet at the same time, you telling me that you can't pay for this and then you going to charge me $102,000 for this treatment that I can't pay for because he ain't made enough money on this job, because after we done sit up there and did all this and paid for the insurance premiums on top of they taking this out for the insurance, and then I still got a $200 copay or a $200 deductible before we do anything, and then you still ain't going to give me the information as to what's what. That gets frustrating as hell.
Yes, it does, and I understand the quote-unquote their pain, but they have to understand ours. Everybody's hands are tied. They get frustrated with us as healthcare
professionals, right, because y'all get the brunt of it like as if it's your fault, right?
Yeah,
right.
But they don't understand that not only do we have to listen to the insurance companies, we have to pay attention to the law because we don't want to get sued, and we can very well happen.
Lord. Whew. Okay, now let's go into this new and improved, because, see, here we go. We still here with new and improved shit. Now, okay, like I said here, this article here, this is coming from the UK, and this was just written on the 14th. And they have said that researchers report that increased use of crystal methamphetamine is driving up incidence of HIV among men who have sex with men or MSMs, and this is over in London. This is a United Kingdom article, y'all.
Yeah.
Ecstasy, cocaine, ketamine, Y-butyl, I don't know what this is, butyrolactone, whatever the hell that is, and speed are widely available among MSMs in London, according to Tony Kirby and Michelle Thornburg Dunwell, authors of the Lancet article. There were 3,010 new cases of HIV in the United Kingdom in 2011, and 1,296 of these cases of infections were diagnosed in London. And they stated that the use of crystal meth increases the risk of HIV, hepatitis C, and other STDs. Now, with this information going on over there in London, let's bring this back closer to home here. What is going on? Because is that part of the reason why a lot of these viruses are coming back new and improved? Because of the strand of what, everybody's looking for a buffer. If it's not if it's not marijuana, which now the marijuana that they doing now ain't all together. It's not just regular weed no more. It's kush. It's this. It's that. Everything is chemicalized. I mean, hell, cigarettes now have gotten worse as far as the chemicals that they're putting in cigarettes and all of that, with embalming fluid and roach spray and all this kind of stuff that's in the cigarettes. I know folks who claim that when they're growing the weed, they sit up there and lace it down. They would crystallize it with Hennessy and other alcohol on top of whatever else, if they're trying to fertilize it or whatever they're doing. So a lot of the marijuana plants and stuff, have become adulterated. So is that what they're finding with a lot of these viruses and stuff, that's not reacting to to regular treatments and things anymore because of the drugs and things that folks are using?
Well, yes, and that's a great part of it. But a part that they left out is now research is finding that they're putting animal and human feces in the soil.
Are you what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wait a minute.
Well, we have to leave that there. We have to leave that there because that's one of those things that we're dealing with. But that is, I can't go too far into it. But yes, that has come up as well.
That ain't making sense because human to human, we can't even ingest anything human into outside of urine. Because they say if you're on a desert island, if you were to recycle your own urine, it could help sustain you because it's sterile. However, anything with human feces or whatever, that does nothing with the body. So why in the hell are we putting it in the soil? Oh Lord, okay.
Growing their weeds and whatever else they're doing, and like you said, crystal meth is at an all-time high. This is one of the biggest things that authorities are dealing with is crystal meth. And then, of course, a lot of police authorities are coming down with illnesses because of going into these places that have been cooking this crystal meth. You see, because these airborne chemicals, this stuff holds in the air for so long, they have to go in here with face masks and all these suits and things like that. Then you got the babies that are in the house that have become crystal meth users. Little babies, months old, up to years old. That's a heavy thing that we're dealing with on that end. Let's not forget mental illness. What some of these drugs cause. The people have never had problems, and then all of a sudden now they're mentally ill and to the point of being homicidal or suicidal. All this plays a role. So, and it goes on down to the sexual thing. This is where we're coming up with more of the testicular problems and the breast problems with men. Men are becoming a little more lactated. There are men now that can squeeze their breast and get milk out of it just like a woman.
Do you know I see that on YouTube and on XTube and carrying on?
That is a fact.
And a lot of folks thought that, most of them are bodybuilders and carrying on. But yes, this whole new phenomenon with lactating men, when I first heard about it, it was a Caucasian man. I think he's overseas somewhere, that he was able to pump his breast because his wife wasn't able to breastfeed anymore.
Exactly.
And he wanted to be a part of the whole process of breastfeeding, and he pumped his breast and was able to lactate and was able to breastfeed their child. That was a story that came and went. Nobody really put any stock in that. But I remember that so vividly.
There's a lot of stock in it, and it's particularly now. They are looking at that. It's so many things that the medical industry is looking into. But there again, like I say, with the Congress and the Senate holding things up, funding is drying up. Okay, it's just like anybody else. A scientist is not going to stay on this job doing this if he's not going to be paid. He's not doing it for free. So he quit. Okay, that company may not ever be able to get that scientist back again. Somebody else that's got some money is going to pick him up, and he's going to stay with them. So now we've lost the knowledge that he has because he's under, laws that he can't reveal what he knows to keep that research going at another facility, or they could sue him for that. So here we go.
Is it modern medicine or is it big business, honey? What's tea?
There you go.
What's tea?
You came with a
now,
good
you know what? Something just hit me, and I don't even know if this is even researched yet. Okay. Now, with the man being able to lactate, it said earlier on in all of the research with HIV infection and the spread of it from parent to child, that if a child were to become HIV infected, that it was not the father. If a man who is HIV positive impregnates a woman, the only way that the baby was to become HIV positive was if the woman was already positive, or if she's positive and when she breastfeeds, she transmits the virus through the breast milk.
Yeah.
So now, have they started researching that on male breast milk in HIV?
I can tell you that I was reading an article just a couple of months ago. So it's in the very beginning stages of research, if you want to call it research. They're looking into it. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But how many things are they looking into? You know, it's just, that's probably at the bottom of the list, so to speak.
And see now, because that I was going to go there earlier. As far as research and development, when I was wanting to play devil's advocate, because we see all these old, what I consider to be what seems to be asinine studies. You know, they'd have spent all this money to study that left-handed people read more books than right-handed people, or whatever. You know, something as trivial as that will get funded and researched, and then they will go into all of the annals of history. You know,
yeah.
On you know, and then when stuff that's important, they lose the funding for that. But sit up there and then found out that spend all this money to track down this damn beluga whale to say that they're more cold water friendly than the killer shark or whatever, something stupid and ridiculous. Why do we need to know? That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. The information has nothing to do with anything.
Well, why are we going into wars into foreign countries? Why are we going to the moon when we have to deal with things down here? You know, like you said, the peeling of the onion, this is a mighty damn big onion, isn't it?
Okay. Lord. Okay. So now we're still on
well, we need to go into the S.T.Is, like you said.
Yeah, let's go there,
Sexually
because
transmitted diseases are on the rise, and the old ones as well as the new ones. We're talking about syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and it goes on and on and on, and it's on the rise dramatically, where they have had to open offices of the CDC in states around the country. It can't just be there, centered in Atlanta. They have to be everywhere, because different states require different parts of the CDC for all these various reasons. Like I mentioned, polio is on the way back up. Somebody's got to research that. What's happening? What vaccine can we come up with now that we thought we had this beat? Let's not forget, we still have people coming in from other countries that are carrying viruses and diseases that we had eradicated or supposedly eradicated that they have. So now they're coming in, coughing and hacking and shaking hands. Another thing that's astronomically risen is TB is back. And at
tuberculosis?
At phenomenal proportions, yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what? Because I know when I was in the shelter and carrying on, during that period when I was homeless in New York and all of this, they always said make sure you kept the windows open because nobody was, they didn't keep their hygiene up. And so you kept the windows open so that so that the air could circulate, so that a lot of folks would not ingest or breathe in a lot of the funk and the waste and carrying on. Because a lot of them folks, they were defecating on themselves and this, that, and the other. So they come in there reeking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now I guess so, because a lot of the homelessness and carrying on has gone up. A lot of people don't want to deal with them. They won't supply institutions where folks can have their dignity and go take a good shower, wash their clothes, or whatever the case may be.
Well,
I don't know.
They're saying that they don't have the funding for a lot of these things. There we go again.
They don't. Wait a minute. Wait.
They said that they do not have the funding.
Listen to me very carefully, and this is me talking. You don't have to say anything because I know you're bound by certain things. But as an American citizen, we done just spent $6 billion for a fucking election to get a Democrat and a Republican to run. Then they had all these damn fundraisers for a fucking election that is not a tax write-off, mind you. That goes into the fund so they can spend to put up flyers, to sit up there and put on these all hateful ads on the news on that, and this, that, and other for a damn election. Okay? We could do that for an election. We could do that when folks are sitting up there. This money is coming from somewhere. Whenever, and this is not to bash it, but whenever we got the natural disasters and carrying on, folks will go digging deep and carrying on for that. Folks will sit up there and they will find money for that. But yet you want to tell me there is no money to sit up there to make sure that these folks who you say need to be taken care of, there's no funding for them to build somewhere. You know, shut down a lot of the community centers because you can't run it. That's where the showers and stuff at. A lot of the YMCA's got showers and things where folks could go in and take a shower. They got running running water where they can wash the clothes and things so folks can keep their dignity about them. You may not be able to help them completely, but the little stuff like that is what means so much, just the small stuff. You want to tell me there's no money, there's no funding, but yet all the time we got folks sitting up there paying into a fucking campaign. You would sit up there and go to everybody getting ready for this inauguration. I got something up in here to go to this inaugural ball to be amongst the heavy hitters. It was $100,000 a damn plate. Mm-hmm. Just to be seen with folks in this particular circle, with the dignitaries, $100,000 a damn plate to go party.
And what chicken do you know that costs $100,000? That's what we're playing, the game of chicken, and we're playing the game of chicken with people's lives.
How? Wait a minute, now, did you work me for that? Did you? How? Did you just work me for that?
Mm.
We are playing the game of chicken with folks like, wow. If that's not profound, if that is not a profound statement right there.
Yeah. When you go to that $100,000 plate and you take a bite of that chicken, you've taken a bite out of somebody's life. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Wow. That's rich. I've got to quote that somewhere. Wow. So TB is on the rise.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, herpes.
Oh, yes. That is astronomical.
And I was told by my primary care doctor that it is especially dormant a lot of in the African American culture because a lot of folks don't know. He told me that is one test that they do not test for. A lot of people don't know they got herpes or have been exposed to it.
Exactly. There we go again. You know, that's not a test that's commonly done. It's not commonly done because insurance companies don't want to pay for it. And then if they find out that it's true, a lot of times what happens is they're bound to treat it. See, that's why a lot of people don't get tests and things, because if they allow the test comes back where you have this, that, or the other. Now the insurance company is bound to treat it. So, see, there's another layer of the onion. So if we test you for AIDS, let's say, and you have it, okay, now we're duty-bound to treat you unless or until your employer or whoever that you have your insurance under it says, well, we're no longer using that insurance. We're going to something else. That's why insurance has changed so much, because it gets to the point where they've gotten all these diagnoses and they've allowed these tests to be taken, and they found that people had this, that, and the other. So now it's costing them astronomical amounts of money. So they tell you, you got to go to another insurance or we're changing insurances. That cuts their boundary. They're no longer duty bound, and then they won't allow that test to happen in the new company.
Okay.
That's why I told you, when you come to an emergency room or whatever, we want to know your chief complaint. We don't want to know all these others, because it becomes duty bound.
Wow.
The only exceptions are cancer. If the test is taken and it's found that you have a particular type of cancer, if it's in the handbook that they're not going to pay for it to start with, then that's where the duty bound starts. We took the test. We told you what you have. Now go ahead on and do what you need to do, because we can't do anything more. All we can tell you is you got this. Now how you get it treated is up to you.
Lord.
Just like they told you about the hernia. Yes, the hernia needed to be repaired before it got any worse, but they're telling you it's got to get to the worst stage before they can do anything.
Exactly. And
so that's how it works. That's how it works. Sometimes we can take the test, but what good is a test if we can't treat you after we find out you got what we thought you had or you thought we had all the time? Because your insurance says, oh, no, we can't. It's already written that we're not taking care of that. So tell the patient that they know it now, they wanted to know, so now it's on them to get it taken care of.
Here's something. Let me go here. Because in dealing with sexually transmitted infections, diseases, and carrying on, here's something that I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
When dealing with symptoms prior to a testing to find out if this is positive or not, or even when you find out, what is considered to be cosmetic versus an actual treatment? And here's why I asked this question. And this is not a sexually transmitted disease. It's just that when up under the state insurance, under the state of Michigan, I had moved back home from Detroit, and about a couple of years later, I noticed that I was having a very bad athlete's foot problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which caused a lot of itching, and I was scratching my feet and carrying on until I was scratching myself to bleed.
Mm-hmm.
And I had noticed, I was starting to get the yellowing of the toenails and this, that, and the other. And I went to a podiatrist, and this fucker told me, down at the University of Healthcare, right there in the medical center,
mm-hmm.
he sat there and told me to my face, yes, this is a foot fungus, and yes, you do have that. However, the state of Michigan doesn't pay for this because they consider this to be cosmetic. So what we can do is we'll give you some hydrocortisone that you could put on there as a treatment. Now, yes, you will have unsucked toes, but it won't kill you. So that would be the only treatment that you get for that. Because I was like, well, why don't you, the Lamisil and all that was just, I said, well, give me the Lamisil, honey, and let's do this so that we could cure this up. Because I'm scratching myself to where I'm bleeding, honey, so that's not good. If I continue to scratch to where I'm bleeding, I'm opening up for all kinds of infections.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it won't kill you, he told me. He told me that. He said, this will not kill you. Your insurance company sees this as cosmetic.
But now,
and
if you dig and scratch enough and deep enough and start to cause problems in other areas, that opens up the door to treat it, because now you have an illness that requires antibiotics that may have to save your life. So you'll have to deal with this, but if it gets worse, now then we can help you. Oh, and remember I was telling you about Henry Ford and Beaumont?
Right.
And you just mentioned the DMC?
Yeah.
Well, the DMC has been bought as well. They've been bought from a company out of Tennessee.
So they're privatized now.
They're privatized. Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
So that includes the Children's Hospital, Huxell, Sinai Grace.
Grace.
All of them are up under this balloon of this company out of Tennessee.
Okay, Pharaoh's Box said that's more money. Exactly. Anytime everything becomes privatized, now they get to call the shots because it's all about the profit margin.
There you go.
How much money they can make up out of this in order for this to be a profit for them, because this has become business. Everybody is in business to make money. We understand all that. But why is it that those who are at most vulnerable always have to be the ones to take the hit? See, those who the 1% of the population that sit up there and can spend and go to auctions, honey, and spend $2.5 million for a gown that Marilyn Monroe wore, honey, in a movie that's 40 years old now, that you can't wear, that's going to sit on a mannequin just to say I bought it because that's recreation. If you got that kind of money to spend for recreation, then going to the doctor and paying for medical shit doesn't concern you. But for the most of us, honey, when we're struggling and everything becomes a gamble, either I buy groceries or I buy medicine. Okay, that's just every day. We ain't talking about the senior citizens and carrying on.
Exactly.
You know, that there becomes a struggle. And all of these damn companies, they know that, but we're the ones that take the biggest hit for it.
And you're about to take another big hit for it. Watch what happens over the next couple of months. The little bit that you do or did have is going to become a little bit less because of this
they're
mess
talking
that's
about
going
that
on
now.
up there in Washington, this fiscal cliff. And then all people are experiencing, even though they claim they fixed this for a couple of months, the part that they didn't fix, and it was hit out in the very first checks of those of us that are working, that 2% increase, that came out of people's checks all over the country. They lost 2% out of their checks. And they said that's to cover the Social Security tax. And now we're about to get another hit, the middle-class workers, with one of these taxes that weren't re-upped in Washington. They said, watch out, because you're about to see another little pinch of your check gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the end, it's going to be you're either upper class or no class, okay? You call it low class.
Right.
Low is going to become no.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, you're either upper class or no class. There's no middle because they're sucking you dry. The poor ain't got nothing to pay. The rich ain't going to pay. So who are they going to get it from? Us working class. That's all. That's the only place they can hit.
Right.
And the poor, because the little pennies they were getting or the little health care they were getting is going to become even littler. I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here and say this, and I probably shouldn't, but it's just eating at me, so I have to say it. I understand now why the Tea Party and the Republicans were so against the Obama health care plan. Because it did not actually make things better. It made things worse. And I can't go into why, because that's for a whole other conversation. But if you read it, because, see, I understand now why those senators were standing up there dropping it on the podium, this 900-page crap that's the new health care law. they said if you read some of this, you would disagree with it too. That's why they weren't dealing with that. They said, yes, we would like to have some kind of health reform, but this ain't it. And then they said, who's going to sit up here and read 900 pages of this crap? I mean, that's like reading 3 novels, okay? And then it's with mess. This is abbreviated. That's adjusted. You got to do this. You got to do that. Now I understand what they were saying. I said, oh, they just want to browbeat Obama, but it wasn't that at all. This is a mess that is going to take years to straighten out. That's why it's in the federal courts, and the Supreme Court did their little number with it, but now it's dropping down into the federal and state courts because it's a mess. And the only people that you can mess with is the people that can't do anything.
Okay.
So there's going to be all these hundreds of different insurance companies. You're going to be required to have health care either by the end of this year or next year, whichever one it is, by law. And if you don't have it, then you will be penalized. So what about the person that's laid off, unemployed? You know, you got to go and buy an insurance policy with what? If I don't buy it, you're going to penalize me for not having it? With what?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go again. Am I going to have this insurance, or am I going to eat? Am I going to pay my car note, my house note? What? Am I going to take my medicine or forego that? There's another part of the onion for you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything ain't gold.
Well, yeah, that's true. And see, when they were putting all this together and carrying on, I fought all of the lawmakers and stuff with that, because before all of that was passed and carrying on, I never heard anybody come up with a counter. They kept saying how much of a mess it was, but nobody came up with a counter to say, let's do this instead. And without it becoming folks dancing around that whole political thing and trying to save a political career, and instead of doing what's right.
Well, anything at this point that they would do would be a mess with health care because of the cost. See, that's the thing. So, you know, these corner store clinics and things like that, they'll benefit from it because that's the only person that's going to take it. See, hospitals are already putting up in their facilities what insurances they are and are not going to take. If you have this insurance, there's no point in you coming here because we're not going to take it. I've seen that with my own eyes when I went to Henry Ford.
I've been a victim of it.
So,
okay. Well, now, you know what? Let me ask you this from a medical standpoint. Because I've always seen this when I heard this. You know, I was like, child, those who have never had to sit down there and deal with being sick and then told that you wasn't sick enough to come to this hospital. You had to wait till the clinic opened. Okay?
Right.
So they don't understand that. And having to deal with, PPOs or HMOs or whatever, when you're dealing with health management organizations and you could only deal with the organizations within this cluster.
Right.
Okay? So I've always seen this as just a governmental form of that. You know, okay, everybody get to have health insurance, but okay, you talking about your choices and stuff are going to be taken care of. No, it's not, because, hell, everything is outlined, your choices within this particular parameter of things, just like with HMOs or whatever. It's the same format from what I saw. Now, of course, I didn't read 900 pages, but how they outlined it sounded like HMO to me. You know, a government regulated HMO. And those who had money or those who've never had to deal with an HMO don't understand that because they consider that to be poor. Poor people deal with that. So now you get to understand that from that particular perspective. But here's my thing to you. With this particular health care, what is it or how is it that you deal with that as a healthcare professional when you're dealing with just that? I'm not sick enough to be here. you got to wait until the clinic open and go to the urgent care versus coming to the emergency room.
Oh, that would be pretty if it was that way. Now, what happens is you go to your clinic or your doctor's office or whatever. You know, before you even see the doctor up front, there's the people up there checking the insurances and things like that. You don't even get to see the doctor. If they don't take it or if it doesn't go through their system, they'll tell you that they can't see you. So you're not even getting to see. The doctor ain't even seeing you. You don't even know that you're there now. You have to go through this process before you can get to a doctor. You're not going to get to the doctor. That's out now. Oh, no. You won't see me until you pass this insurance process. And if you don't pass that, well, then you won't ever see me. I'll never know that you were there.
Okay.
And that's happening right now. I know for a fact because it happened to a couple of friends of mine. They turn you away at the desk, never mind the doctor. Like I said, bottom line, doctor don't even know you're here, or the whatever healthcare practitioner it is, don't even know that you were there.
Okay.
Another piece of the onion. This chicken,
right.
This chicken is becoming mighty good, ain't it?
It's becoming a bit rubbery, honey. Okay. Now let's go. Wait a minute. What? No, I'm down to the last 5 minutes and things. Let's do a recap, or no, not a recap. Just give me, or give the people listening, an overview. What do you feel that everybody should do, particularly with sexually transmitted infections and things? Go over that particular piece so that folks can understand why is this so important. As far, we haven't even discussed the whole idea of condoms and carrying on, because
that's what
my whole thing is this. My thing with condoms is this, because here's another onion. Because a lot of folks, everybody is condom. Okay, but we're not dealing with those who have been who are allergic to the rubber or whatever, or latex, and cannot use them. Now they have the polyurethane condoms, but them fuckers are so damn expensive to where that's going into a whole nother world. Mm-hmm. We have not talked about those who are on all kinds of medicines, psychotropic medicines, diabetes, heart medicines, and blood pressure medications that causes erectile dysfunction, which causes folks not to be able to use condoms, or they have to fight and wrestle with condoms. And so rather than fight and wrestle, they would gamble and not use them at all. What is that, and what is it that you want the people to know?
Well, the biggest thing is keep the faith. I mean, we say that knowing that is about where it's at, because the issues in which we are dealing with now, which we call major and severe, are about to cut a little bit deeper. So my biggest suggestion is that you eat as much natural food as you possibly can. Homegrown is best, but of course we're all not gardeners.
Okay.
Like your caller said, go back to the homeopathic remedies, because you're not going to be able to afford the medications after a while. 3/4 of the people already can't. We know that they're struggling between eating and taking the medicine. So the only thing I can say is keep the faith and hope that we come up with some sort of a half-minded solution, I would say at this point, rather than nothing, to do better. We're in a mess, and the mess ain't got as big as it's going to get. So unfortunately, I have to end on a note that is not necessarily a sweet pill.
Okay.
But I would love if you would have me to be a guest again, because there's so many things we haven't covered that we would like to cover. And in the time that we have, it's going to take 3 or 4 more times to get the coverage just on the basic things and the needs that people have and some of the things that they may be able to do. There are things, programs and things that people don't know about. They can't jump on the internet and find out about them. I can help in that sense. Maybe one time I can come back on your show to tell them about a couple of things, but it's a mess. And it's a mess for all of us. It's not just, I don't want people at home to think that they're the only ones going through it. It's taking food out of our mouths as well. Because if we can't see you as patients, where's the money coming from? How are we going to get paid?
Okay, right.
So it's a trickle-down effect. That's why I said you're either going to be upper class or no class. There's going to be no middle class. So we're just as concerned about it as they are. We still have to eat. We have families, too.
Okay.
So the discussion is nowhere near over. Maybe for today, but it's nowhere near as over. We've just begun to peel the onion back. We haven't even gotten past the skin yet.
Wow. Well, all right, because see, if I don't stop now, I would keep going, because it's just, a lot of this stuff just, it upsets me, it irates me, it incenses me, because I'm not understanding, why. And here's my biggest thing with this, and I say this, and I don't give a damn who gets upset about it, or because I know I've always said that my lines have been tapped because I've been a radical thinker, and that's just who I am. But I am so sick and tired of being the ones who always have to take the brunt and take the hit. And then every time we open up our mouths about it, we're told that we are wrong. They tell us that, no, we're looking at this from your best interest. We have your best interest at heart. Yet we're always the ones that's taking the hit. We're always I'm a single man. I have dependents. My niece and nephews and stuff are my dependents, but I don't have my own biological children. And so most of the time it's just me, a single man with no children. And because of that, I'm one who gets hit the hardest. Okay, those who have, I don't understand when they were going through the presidential elections and carrying on, how in the hell does someone who grosses $2.5 million a year annually, okay, as your paycheck, how your tax bracket is at 14%, but yet mine is at 24.7%.
Exactly.
And I'm only at a $10.50 an hour job.
Exactly.
That makes no fucking sense to me. I don't understand that, and I don't understand how is it that businesses, and here we go here, everything that consider themselves to be a business, those who are big, large corporations and carrying on, how is it that businesses never take the damn hit? There's always the employees because of your bottom line. You don't want your profit margin to change. So rather than your profit margin change, and notice I'm saying profit margin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not saying your expenses, your overhead is taken care of. We're talking about your profit margin. Everything now at this point has been profit. You don't want that to change. So rather than let that change or whatever, you get me and you want me to take the hit. So you cut my hours, you cut my benefits, you cut all of that from me so that your profit margin doesn't change.
Okay, now you're going to the stock market. You're going into another thing altogether. They're trying to keep their profit margins up and beyond so they can pay the shareholders. So now we're going to Wall Street.
Well, okay, another onion.
Yeah.
We're down to the last 60 seconds, child. So let me say thank you for coming on, and thank you for just giving us information, honey. This is the kind of stuff that we need to have out there on a regular basis. So, darling, yes, thank you for just thank you, honey.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All right, darling. We'll talk again soon.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, honey, you've just heard. This is Nurse Practitioner. This is Lee Johnson Sr. And giving it to us, honey, how it's given to him on all levels. And a lot of times we get frustrated with the medical professionals and not the profession itself. So take to heart what's been said, honey, and let's move forward. And we got some explaining to do. We got some homework to do, and we got to learn how to get this shit done. So with that, my darlings, I'm going to inhale and then exhale and see what I can do to make this something for me. And I hope that you take this information and make it something for you because, child, we're all in this together. Ooh, yeah. So with that, honey, finish all of your crumpets, darling, because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea, darlings, honey, with Big Meech. If you love me, tell a friend. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know this, one way, shape, style, form, or fashion, honey, this thing will move forward. So without any further ado, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your love. I thank you for being one of my tea sippers. Go to the website, find out more information about how you can come on board. We're hoping to make it a 20-year dream come true for me with my play, getting your sponsorship information, putting in, if you have a business or a product that you want to promote or whatever and want to take out an ad, you can do that there. If you want to get a copy of my book, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey, go to www.dishingtea.com. And without any further ado, honey, go enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and thank you for your time. I will speak to you again soon. Ciao.